In this video, we're going to walk through designing your chapter opener paragraphs, so that first plain text paragraph in your book. And we'll talk specifically about how to remove the indent from those paragraphs and how to add a drop cap. Here we've got our book project, and the manuscript has already been uploaded, the styles have been applied and reviewed, and we've already started designing. So let's jump into our first chapter. And you can see here, if we click on this first text paragraph, you can see that it's just styled as plain text paragraph. The style it's using popped right up here in this drop-down menu. And you can scroll through the book and see that that's the same style that all of our body text paragraphs use. But we want to design this first text paragraph a little bit differently than the rest of the paragraphs in the book. We want to get rid of this initial text indent, and we also want to add a drop cap to our paragraph. Because our book uses nested HTML, we can actually use some special selectors to select just this first plain text paragraph. If you click the second drop down here, you can see that you have a few options to choose from around which kinds of plain text paragraphs you want to design. We could actually pick one of two options here. We could choose the first plain text paragraph inside our chapter, or we could choose plain text paragraphs following a heading. I'm going to go ahead and choose that one. Now, to remove the indent, we'll scroll down to the indent box here, and we'll just put a 0 here. And you can see right away that the indent was removed from this text paragraph, and if we scroll down a little further, we can see that the rest of our text paragraphs are unaffected. You can also see when we did that this clear override button popped up. Now, we haven't saved yet, so we could just click cancel and get rid of all our changes. But once we do save, these extra design settings that we're adding for our plain text paragraphs that follow a heading will be saved as overrides on top of any other settings we add for all plain text paragraphs. So we could change the font family or the font size, and those settings would still apply to our first plain text paragraph, but it would also still have these new overrides that we're adding with the text indent and the drop cap. If you ever decide that you don't like those overrides and you want to get rid of them, you can just click this clear override button and that will immediately delete them from your style sheet. Now let's scroll down and add our drop cap. The drop cap option is down at the bottom of your design options. You can see here drop cap. So the first thing we'll do is just turn on this add drop cap checkbox. And nothing happened. That's because our drop cap is still using the same font settings as the rest of our text, so visually we can't see a difference. So let's go ahead and make our drop cap bigger. We could type in a value here, or we can use the up and down buttons to adjust the size. And you can see as we click this button that the first letter or character in our paragraph is getting bigger just the way we want it to. We'll set it to 24 points for now. Now we want the top of our drop cap to be flush with the top of the rest of that first line of text. So let's scroll down here to our drop cap padding box. And this is where we can adjust how that drop cap fits in with the line. If we add padding to the top of the drop cap, you can see that it actually shifts down so that it drops down into that second line of text, which is what we want. We could also add a little bit more padding to the right to separate it from the rest of the text, but we don't really need to. And that's it. We've added a drop cap and we've gotten rid of the text indent on that first text paragraph, and we didn't even have to change the styles. So let's go ahead and save. And now we can move on.